Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt. Now it's time to discover your hidden legal issue blind spots by listening to me talk about the law on the radio. And today we're going to be talking with Alyssa Warren with Holden Roofing about roofing law. But first, let's get to know you a little bit better. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Fresno, California. So I've been in San Antonio since 2019.
Okay, and how did you get here?
Honestly, it was very random. I was supposed to be going to Colorado, and I was coming through this way to visit a friend in Florida that ended up not answering my calls last minute, and I got stuck in Texas. And then I ended up jumping around, looking at different areas of Texas. I fell in love with it and decided to stay here in San Antonio. So,
wow, that is interesting. Yeah. Where's Fresno?
Fresno's right in the Central Valley in California. So it's like right between LA and Sacramento. So you're just a couple hours from the beach, from Yosemite, and very fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
You mentioned Yosemite. Are you an outdoor person?
Yes. Yeah. And then I grew up, it's funny, I'm from Fresno, but I also grew up in East Tennessee outside of Knoxville and Anderson County. And I grew up climbing up trees and stuff. So coming into roofing, I remember one of the questions was, "You're not scared of heights, are you?" And I'm like, no, definitely not.
How did you get interested in roofing?
So the company I was originally going to go to Colorado and open up a branch for, I was in marketing before and running a branch in California, and they wanted me to go open a branch in Colorado Springs. But I ended up liking Texas. I was like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and stay in San Antonio. Can I open up here? They said yes. And then they ended up cutting the pay that they were originally going to give me. So I started looking at other options. And I was originally in the financial world. I was a financial broker-dealer. I worked in the financial broker-dealer firm, recruiting financial advisors and planners like him. So I was in that field. So I was like, I'm going to go back into that and get out of marketing. And I got the job for two of them, and I was making the decision. And then roofing, I randomly got a call from them. I don't know how they got my resume. And I was interested. I looked into the pay, and I was like, So had a conversation with them, liked the management team that I met, and I ended up starting that next day with them, and I turned down both of those offers. So
oh, wow.
I've been there ever since.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Joseph, you mentioned in the last segment that y'all are married.
Yes.
And so I wanted to hear the story of how you met.
Yeah, it's an interesting, feel free to jump in whenever you want.
Okay,
but she originally came to me as a client, and we had known a lot of people beforehand. So we were in the same circle, but had never met each other. I knew Joe Lorigan, who's somebody who works in the branch in San Antonio as a manager. Sergio, a very funny guy, friend of mine who also works at Holden Roofing, one of her colleagues, was actually my client at the time. And she came to me as a client. We did her financial roadmap. And it's interesting. I remember some of her answers still, which was like, I want to start a family. I want to do these things. A lot of stuff that we've done already, right? Like get married, start a family. Her goals that we're working towards now, we actually completed a financial roadmap together afterward. But she became my client at first. And then later on, we decided to go on a date, went ice skating, went on different places to like a different dates and stuff like that, and decided to get married pretty quickly. We did the Christian way, which is we got married about 6 months after we met. Where you first date, you get the ring and you're ready. And yeah, it's been a wild adventure. Now we have 2 kids together, and doing life and flipping houses and all this stuff together, which is a lot of fun. So,
Alyssa, what do you like to do for fun?
For fun, honestly, I enjoyed finding those fixer-uppers. I know our new adventure is now we're searching for land to do a build-up. So find the land, build from there. And then I know we want to do a couple of those and then eventually get into like multifamily properties. So that's kind of like my for fun. And then just spending time with the kids. I know like zoo days are always fun. So I know we love the do Zim too. I wish we could go more. It's just for some reason those are the only time our kids get sick is going to the do Zim. They always touch everything, want to put it in their mouth. But yeah, little adventures with the kids and stuff like that.
Cool. Okay, well, let's get into roofing. Tell us about the company.
Yeah, so I work with the largest residential roofing company here in town, Holden Roofing. So they're also one of the oldest companies in town, been in business since 1961. The company, it's a family-ran business. It's not a big corporation. I know often people think we're a huge company and we have like over 40 people, but we actually have a pretty small group, about 20 or less usually is what we flirt around. And we just do high volumes. We do everything the old school way. We don't do advertisement like billboards, commercials, or anything. We're the largest by just doing it from word of mouth. Like you do your client right, maybe put a sign up in the yard, talk to a neighbor or two, and it's just a snowball effect. You'll get everybody's neighbor, you'll get the whole neighborhood, you'll see our signs up that way, and then you'll start getting, oh, you did my dad's house or did my sister's house, and it just goes from there. So very good company, good rating. So like I said, I've been here with the company since 2019. I get offers all the time, and it's one of those things like I would never leave because I love the culture there. We give back to the community. We have a lot of the same values and stuff within the company, so I love being there, the coworkers, and they do everything right from the installs to warranties, and even outside of warranties, I've seen them take care of the clients past that just to, take care of them going forward.
And Holden Roofing has an office in Houston.
Yep, they do too. So the company originated based out of Katy, Texas. So our largest branch and our original branch is in the Houston area. So I know that team is very large over there, and I think they split up and cover that entire area. We also have branches in Austin, Texas, San Marcos, Temple, Dallas, Fort Worth area. So we're all over the state, and we push very high numbers. And like I said, we're the largest here in San Antonio, and we have been for many years.
The reason I wanted to talk about roofing is because of all the storms that San Antonio and Houston have had over the past couple of months. Tell us what causes damage to roofs.
Yeah, so, and it's kind of funny, you'll hear everyone's kind of got their input. That there's damage of what, Texas Department of Insurance calls damage. There's damage of what a roofer would say damage is. And then there's damage of what the manufacturers of the shingles and different products on your roof is. But in general, it's going to be like the most common you're going to see for like insurance claims purposes. They're looking for hail damage. So hail damage, typically when we're like looking around the house, signs of hail damage are going to be little nicks to the fence that we can see are pretty consistent with that size hail that's reporting. Window screens will also have nicks to them. AC combing systems, you'll see them in there. You'll find dents all around the property, and even like gutters and downspouts, the dings. So when I'm walking around a house doing a full inspection, I'm already starting to see signs, what direction that storm came in, what's the size, kind of get an idea. So before I even get on the roof, I kind of generally see what's going on. When we get on the roof, what we're finding are dings to the metals up there. And then we're seeing like the same thing. So we like to call it like almost like fresh pepper marks. I love to go out right after a storm because it looks like fresh pepper marks everywhere. So it's where the hail impacted the shingles, knocked the granules off. You'll have some that you'll almost see like a divot in where it will bruise the matting. So those are a lot of the signs we're looking for. And before we even get to a claims process, I want to make sure there's enough evidence around before we even talk about that.
And so why is that bad for a shingle to have a dent or to be missing some of the sand on top of it?
Yeah, so once the hail hits and impacts that shingle, knocks those granules off, basically if you go back to how a shingle is made, so it's the asphalt, fiberglass, asphalt, and then granules. So when you knock those granules off, now you're just exposing that asphalt. Our heat here is extreme. So you're just basically baking, and you'll see even where the tar, it starts separating. You'll see those hail hits over time. They start opening up where we can now see the fibers. Oh. So now once you're down to the fiber, it's only a matter of time. Now you're down to a lot of the houses here, if it's the originals, we're looking at it doesn't have that synthetic underlayment. It had the old school felt paper, and water's just basically going through that hole down to the felt paper and now getting to your wood sheathing, and that's where you get soft decking. And when we do replace the roof, we're replacing all that different wood sheathing everywhere. So it becomes an issue. And then if you let it go a long period of time, like let's say a course of about 5 years after the original storm, you're like, oh, I'm fine. That's now you're getting holes through there, and then the decking's now leaking, and now you're seeing the water spots in your house.
Right,
so,
it just gets worse and worse.
Exactly. I always tell people, if you've already seen leaks in your house, you're already too late. So there's a mess going on up there.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well, we're talking with Alyssa Warren about roofing, and we'll get to the law in the next segment, but I wanted to find out all of the science behind it. Joseph was a scientist before he became a financial planner, and it sounds like that you treat your job as a science as well.
Yeah, so I always tell my clients I'm not your typical roofer. So I think that's why we kind of clicked a lot too, is we both like to look into things really deep and do our research, and we're kind of nerdy in that way. But it's good to know, and it's not just me with Holden too. That's what I like. That's the culture there. They're all the same. We always bounce off each other. Hey, this is a new law that came out. Hey, this is a new way they're writing up policies. Hey, and we all feed off each other, and we update constantly. And that's why we're always ahead of the game, and then the other roofing companies follow later after they learn what we've learned.
Okay, that's so interesting. You know, the hail you mentioned is one thing. A couple of years ago, after a storm, I saw shingles in my yard, and that's not supposed to happen. And so I knew to call a roofing company after that. When I was doing research for the show, though, it mentioned that sometimes wind can cause a crease in the shingle.
Yep.
What's bad about that?
Yeah, so and with shingles themselves, a lot of people don't realize there's a couple different ones out there, but a very common builder grade shingle out there is called a 3-tab shingle. It's a 25-year shingle, 2025. Those, even at the best, like Owens Corning product, start at 60 mile per hour winds. So, and it just decreases from there. If you're getting into an architectural shingle, that's a 30-year roof. Those ones will start typically, like if you get a good Owens Corning and they're nailing it down right, you're about 130 mile per hour winds or 100 mile per hour winds, and then they decrease from there. But if you're seeing shingles fly off, it did originally most likely start creasing and flapping. That ceiling that's on a shingle most likely broke at that point. Maybe dirt, debris got under it, so now it's just flapping in the wind.
Oh, okay.
And then you get enough good gust, you'll start flipping it up, and then it starts getting really flappy, and then another good gust, there it goes.
Okay.
So when it creases, it's basically, once it creases, those granules are coming off. So that crease causes those granules come off. So it's just making it more flimsy over time, and that's why it's eventually going to go.
So if I saw shingles in my yard, the problem started way before
Way
that.
before. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This is Talk Law Radio. We're talking about roofing, and in the next segment, we'll be talking about the law. If you have a question for Alyssa, call the radio station right now, Saturday, May 30th at 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867. We'll be right back.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Most families don't realize they have hidden legal blind spots until it's too late. Wills, trusts, Medicaid planning, even protecting a business. These are the kinds of issues attorney Todd Marquardt helps uncover before they become problems. Todd is the host of Talk Law Radio, where each week he guides listeners through the legal challenges families, veterans, and business owners face, while showing them the practical steps to protect what matters most. Catch Talk Law Radio, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word, and now in Houston on AM 1070 and 103.3 FM The Answer, or anytime on YouTube. Planning isn't just about documents. It's about peace of mind, security for loved ones, and building a legacy that lasts. Don't wait for a crisis. Do it before you die.